This video is made for adult collectors because, God, the neighbor's dog won't stop barking out the window.
Megatron must be stopped, no matter the cost.
I've been feeling weird, I can't seem to focus good enough. Nothing's really clear, sometimes it could be a little tough. I just need to feel like the end's in sight for me. But let's be really real, anxiety can foggy all this stuff.
86 Optimus Prime is wild, but wild in a good way, a very good way. Hasbro set out to make the best Optimus Prime they could make with the biggest budget in the mainline outside of Titan, and I think they pretty much nailed it. This is Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime, and this is the box he comes with. It's an epic figure. I have my little nitpicks, but it is pretty epic. I do much prefer this look over the Earthrise, though I know some people prefer it the other way around, and that is completely fine. Also, this was purchased at CMD store. Here's the box, not sponsored. But I think this nails the look more, and it feels a hell of a lot nicer. Being on that Commander budget, the plastic feels much more dense than other like legacy toys. He also looks the part with loads of nice sculpted in detail and clean lines. Not a lot of paint on the limbs, but A, that's meant to be cartoon accurate, and B, that means that you can mess with it without being worried any of it's gonna scratch off. The shade of color on the plastic is also super vibrant. Like, they managed to make the white bright. Like, if someone just turned the brightness slider up, but it's not too far up to look overblown. It's just the right amount. There are also some instances where you can see the difference between the palm and the ABS, but it happens so little it's basically a non-issue. The backpack sticks out a bit. I don't really care about that much. The smokestacks, though, on mine, they move a lot. They rotate and they're supposed to peg in, and that's so they can get out of the way for transformation and articulation. But they're a tiny bit loose on mine. I can probably fix that. Head sculpt is nice. I like how this looks, but part of me wishes it came with a more blockier head design. Granted, G1 is so full of animation errors and changes that the head probably showed up like this a bunch. So it's basically a personal preference. There are upgrade heads coming out if you do want to switch it. I bet, well, I didn't show them very much, but I bet you wouldn't have been able to tell that my figure's heels are on upside down until me telling you right now, because it doesn't matter at all. The heels are on upside down. I thought they weren't at first, but they are, and I don't care. It doesn't affect anything stability-wise. It doesn't affect anything transformation-wise. It doesn't affect anything look-wise. It just means the blue line is in the wrong spot. In both modes, it's not noticeable at all. There are fixes out there, but I'm not going to be doing it because I couldn't be bothered. Being a commander at Voyager-ish scale, he comes with a lot of stuff. Similar to Rodimus, you get a trailer full of goodies. The trailer opens up and has extra feet to keep it stable. You get Roller, who has to dock backwards. I don't know why. The cannon arm thing, the blast effects, an axe, a gun. He also has the secret weed compartment for the truck blast effects. Again, a feature from Rodimus, and I love that. But he can wield the axe and hold the gun, although he has like concept Megatron hands, so they're kind of dinky ass grip on the gun. It stays in his hand until you really get into posing it, and sometimes it'll just fall out. He also has a matrix and matrix chamber that is unpainted, but that's because, according to Evan, the designer, the chest cavity has to be made of palm or something like that to house the joints for the butterfly stuff, so the plastic is unpaintable. I mean, you could paint it, but it won't stick for a long time. It'll just start flaking off. I'll sacrifice some paint for more stability, honestly. That's fine with me. And him also being a commander like this, he can pose super well. So of course, with this being such an expensive figure, one of the biggest focuses is going to be its articulation, because he's got a lot. However, I just punched my desk. There's a couple of things that this does I kind of wish it did a bit better. So to start with the head, it's on a ball joint, right? You got a little bit of tilt and it can rotate, but he can't look up or down, like that's it. I really wish he could look up a bit more. Like, I wish there was a hinge thing in here, or like if this plate could rotate, but this plate is pegged into the backpack. It holds the backpack into place, so it's not going to move. I do really wish he could move up a little bit at his head. The shoulders, they can do a full 360. They can go in and out. You have that transformation hinge that can give you a backwards butterfly joint. And then if you lift, you have to lift this top part up a little bit to unlock the shoulder because it's on palm. But then the shoulder comes forward that far, and then you get like the piano thing that happened. And then the smokestacks can rotate. So when you get the shoulder out here, you're like, oh, I want to move it out more, but then the smokestack's going to bump into this, but you just rotate it, and then you can get the arm out all the way. I like that. I just wish they pegged in a bit better. You do have bicep rotation, 90 degrees of bend at the elbow. I wish there was more than a 90-degree bend at the elbow. It also feels like Gamer Edition Prime kind of, where the elbows are a little bit too far down. I wish they were a tiny bit higher, because there's a lot of screenshots where he's holding his gun, and the butt of the gun actually touches his forearm, or not his forearm, his bicep. But you can't do that here, whatever. You do get a wrist rotation, and it is the 3-finger trigger finger split like Rodimus and Concept Megatron. You do have a waist joint, no ab crunch. The hip skirts, they're so tight on mine that they both move, but they're separate, so you can move that forward. Hips go forward that far. They can go back that far, in and out. You can do the full splits. You have a thigh rotation, which does not get hindered by the sculpt. Yay. Ah, such a tight joint. You have over 90 degrees of bend at the knee, and then you have ankle tilt. The feet I wish could go forward and back, but due to how all of this works and how like there's this tab in here that goes away, I can kind of see why that doesn't happen. You can pose the heel down if you want to get sort of like a toe moving pose like that. But yeah, he's pretty cool, pretty poseable. I like it. There's just a couple things I wish were better, like the elbows and the head, but everything else I think is perfect. So the robot, other than a couple of nitpicks I have, it's very good. Now the transformation is very MP44-like in how complicated it looks. But unlike MP44, it's not actually that complicated, and it is very fun to do. All right, transformation. Ultra Magnus is like peeking out in frame. Get off. There we go. Transformation time. It's complicated, but a lot of fun. It's kind of like this, except Rodimus has a couple things on the torso that are really annoying. My dog's making noises downstairs. But Optimus doesn't really do that. Like, everything sort of works a bit better than Rodimus did. So to start with, we're going to curl the fists up and make sure the fingers are tucked underneath the thumbs. Then you want to open both of these panels and just flip the wrists in and close them up. And then we are going to fold the forearms back and just bring them around there for now. Get the smokestacks back into place. Now we're going to work on the backpack. So to start with here, you're going to unpeg it, and you're going to bring these sections in the middle here out. These go up, and then that folds out. I'll do that on the other side. If I get my finger in there, there we go, that goes out. Ah, my finger won't fit. That hurt. Oi, there we go. Now we can pull this whole assembly out. You want to bring the butt down. So now he's got a dingle dangle. And then you can fold that flat. Then what we're going to do is rotate the top torso 180 degrees, then rotate the lower torso 180 degrees so that the whole front of the truck here is now facing forward. You're going to come to the back and you're going to lift up the grill. Well, before you do that, actually, you want to fold the head in. So we're going to rotate the ears down and then push this entire assembly in, and it will clip into place. Bring that back. Now you fold the grill up. Then you compress the torso stripes, and then you bring these back down again. And that's how it hides the stripes on the torso. That's pretty neat. Now you've got this mess to deal with. So you're going to open this section up. You're going to bring these out. You're going to shift it down. And you're going to pull the grill out from the front. Pull this out and then close it up and just shift it up and in. Then you're going to bring the arms back down and spin them in. They will peg into here, here, and up here. So you fit that into place, then you fit this into place, and it will also cup itself around the faux grill here. You got to make sure that lines up correctly, otherwise it'll stick out a little bit. It was a bit cumbersome on my first try, but now I've sort of figured it out, and it's a lot easier to do. See? Boom. In place. Now we're going to take the leg. We're going to work on the legs. So you bring these, you open them up. We're also going to come in here and pull out the tab and slot from inside his feet. And then you bring this around all the way and then peg the legs together. Then we're going to fold down the backwards heels, fold down the feet, and then take the whole entire assembly and break it from the crotch and bring it up. So it's going to sit flat like that. Now we're going to finish the torso. So you want to bring this section in and peg it into place. Open this up and it will fold over and tab into the side. The smokestacks are moving on me again, god damn it. Bring that out, rotate that over and onto the side. Now you want to take this section, bring it out, rotate it 180 degrees. This kind of worries me a little bit because this is painted. Now it doesn't rub up against here, there's like a millimeter of clearance, but this bit right here, that does rub up into here. So the longevity of this is a little bit worrisome, but when you bring this around, it's going to peg into underneath the arms. Now this is not the most solid connection in the world, but there is a more solid connection back here. Now back here, you notice these look like they're broken. And that is because I had to snip them because they would not fit. They were a little too long. They have to go into here and they would push the whole back of the truck down. So I had to trim them. But once I trimmed them, you bring them back here and they will just snap into the arms. See, this side here doesn't like staying in place on my copy. But once you have that all done, you fold out the wheels. And that is the truck all finished. Truck mode is fantastic. Apart from that bit I had to trim, but it looks great. The stripe just vanishes. I love that. And it's really just a dense brick. It feels super solid in hand. Nothing wants to come apart, and it has a super clean truck bed. Get that trailer into the mix, and oh boy, that is a cool design. Yes, this is bigger than the Earthrise one. The trailer is also big enough to hold figures such as Bumblebee, Cliff Jumper, Sandstorm, Long Arm, okay, I think Long Arm's a bit too wide. The trailer also feels super sturdy, not having the issues Rodimus had where some copies of the trailer would just open all the time. Mine does that. That's fun. This one doesn't do that though. Speaking of Rodimus, I really like how this looks. Also, you get blast effects for the blasting off of the truck thing when he transforms. I forgot to take footage of it, so here's a photo. I loved Rodimus, so when they said Prime was going to be a similar concept, I was all over this, and yeah, I'm here for it. And I recommend it. It is such a good figure if you have the funds. It's a great pickup. And if you don't have the funds, Earthrise Optimus Prime is also on shelves right now. So hey, you have options. There's also Power of the Prime's Optimus Prime. But that has been my look at Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.